Part 19. First Marriage Then Love, Mr. Mayor Please Be Kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 185. As soon as I arrived, the weather has been hot recently, and there are a lot of gastroenteritis. Dear friends, pay attention, Nuan's family will get it, and I took care of it for a day today, alas. Mr. Zhao's recognition of Zhou Mikang completely exceeded Zhao Yushan's expectations. He moved his mouth, but no sound came out. He really didn't know how to treat Zhou Mikang. The old man pushed him in disgust. Go away, unprepared. Zhao Yushan was pushed back 2 steps before standing still. Li Aiwan, who came in with a thermos bottle, was so frightened that she quickly ran out the door, and couldn't help joking when she came in again. Father, after meeting your grandson and son-in-law, your spirits immediately improved. When you went to Dalan village, he couldn't get out of the Kong. Now I let him go up the mountain to fight tigers and he can go. Mrs. Zhao also followed her daughter-in-law's voice to tease Mr. Zhao. Hey! Mr. Zhao smiled triumphantly, my grandson-in-law is here, I'm happy. The old lady Zhao squinted at him, is your grandson-in-law not my grandson-in-law? Our grandson-in-law is here, we are happy. That's about the same. Seeing that the old man and the old lady were more happy than picking up gold ingots, Li Aiwan couldn't help but said, Xiaozhou, you have to come here often. If you come so many times a year, the old man and the old lady will surely live a long life age. As long as grandma and grandpa don't bother me, I will come here often. Mr. Zhao said seriously, little regiment leader, you said this yourself. You must keep what you say, and if you don't come by then, I will take the train to settle the score with you. Zhou Mikang looked at Mr. Zhao with a very serious expression, Grandpa, then I really have to keep my words. When the time comes, I will let you and Grandma take the train to settle accounts with me. Ha ha ha. Mr. Zhao smiled happily and poked at the old lady, my wife, why don't we wait for the little regiment leader and Chu Xia to get married? The old lady nodded vigorously, listen to you. How can my grandpa and grandma do this? Zhao Kiwi, who was chopping stuffing outside, frowned and complained to Zhao Yulan, how can people take Chu Xia seriously? Lieutenant Zhou didn't accept you as a soldier because you didn't meet the conditions. Don't always be mean to others. He will be your brother-in-law in the future. How difficult is it for Chu Xia to be in the middle with you like this? Li Aiwan lowered her voice. Reprimand her daughter. Zhao Kiwi muttered in dissatisfaction, I just can't understand my grandfather and my grandmother's courteousness to him, as if he married Chu Xia. It seems that our family took advantage of it, and I don't think about how much older he is than Chu Xia, obviously he is taking advantage. Seeing that Zhao Yulan's expression was obviously unnatural, Li Aiwan was so angry that she pinched her daughter, he is such an old man, he is not sensible at all, and he talks nonsense. Get out! Get out! Get out! I can't wait. Zhao Kiwi was unambiguous, put down the kitchen knife and walked out. Zhao Yulan quickly grabbed her, why, sister-in-law knows that you feel sorry for Chu Xia and are dissatisfied with Xiaozhou. However, Xiaozhou he is really nice, he is good to Chu Xia. He also respects me and your little uncle, and my sister-in-law will tell you in detail later. Today, I will give my sister-in-law face and pretend to be smiling. Is it okay? Sister-in-law Zhao Kiwi tugged at her braids a little irritably, I'll go out first to get some fresh air, I promise, I'll put on a smiling face when I come back. She also knew that her hostility towards Zhou Mikang was too much, but she couldn't control herself now. Whenever she saw him, she would think of Zhao Yuanbao. The man she loved wholeheartedly did such a thing. Unexpectedly, the truth of the matter, the future brother-in-law is the clearest, which makes her hate him immediately surge up in her heart. After standing outside for a long time, the emotions in her heart finally calmed down, and Zhao Kiwi returned to the main room. Zhao Yulan and Li Aiwan had already started making dumplings, so she consciously washed her hands, and took the rolling pin from Li Aiwan to roll the skins. Feeling that her mother and sister-in-law were always looking at her secretly, she squeezed out a smile. "Don't worry, I will do what I say." After thinking about it, he added, "Sister-in-law, it is best to marry Captain Joe in early summer. The choice, I know, I am not targeting him, I am." All right, sister-in-law knows." Zhao Yulan also knew about Zhao Yuanbao, so she interrupted Zhao Qiwi not to let her continue, and quickly changed the subject. "It's only a few months before the exam, how is the review going, how is it?" "I'll ask Zhang Wenyuan all the questions I don't know. With my brother's confession, he dare not teach me when it comes to the university entrance exam." Zhao Qiwi finally feels better. "I'm not sure whether I can pass the exam. Anyway, Zhang Wenyuan, it's sure to be fine." Li Aiwan said casually, "Don't dare to talk nonsense about this matter. What if he gets sick on the day of the exam?" Zhao Qiwi was speechless. "Mother, are you trying to curse someone?" Li Aiwan also realized that what she said was a little too much, so she spit out a few words. "What I said just now doesn't count. I wish my daughter and Zhang Wenyuan are both admitted to college." Zhao Qiwi nodded in satisfaction. "It's not too bad." It was an hour after the hot dumplings were served. It was too late and there was no place to buy meat. The dumplings were stuffed with radish and tofu vermicelli. After they were served, Li Aiwan, who knew the living conditions of Zhou Mikang's family, smiled apologetically. "Little Zhou, that's all you can do if you're not in the right mood." "My aunt still treats me as an outsider," Zhou Mikang said while picking up a dumpling to taste, and nodded. "It's delicious. I can't usually eat such delicious vegetarian dumplings." Zhao Qiwi said, "I chopped the stuffing." Knowing that she was expressing kindness to him in disguise, Zhou Mikang smiled at her rarely. "No wonder it's so delicious." "Ha ha ha!" Mr. Zhao laughed heartily. "Little leader, when I was young, I could eat 3 bowls of dumplings in one meal. If you really think our dumplings are delicious, you should eat at least 4 bowls." "Okay," Zhou Mikang responded happily, and began to eat with big mouthfuls. He was so happy that Mr. Zhao and Mrs. Zhao had a big appetite, and they ate nearly half a bowl of dumplings more than usual. After the meal, the table was cleared away. Zhao Qiwi made tea and brought it up. The whole family sat on the kong and chatted. After asking about Lin Baohe's condition in detail, and knowing that nothing happened when he recovered, everyone was finally relieved. Li Aiwan suddenly looked at Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe mysteriously. "By the way, guess what strange things happened when I went to your village with your elder brother? It doesn't even point to a direction, so how can we guess?" Zhao Yulan asked. "Okay, I won't play tricks with you." Li Aiwan tooted twice before saying, "Our commune's first big red brick house is in your village. Tisk tisk, when it's built, it will definitely be bright and grand." "Whose family?" Zhao Yulan asked suspiciously. "We hadn't heard of it when we left." "Whose family is this capable?" "I don't know. People in your village are watching the fun there, but no one knows who built that house." Lin Baohe frowned suspiciously. "Gang Shun doesn't know either." Zhao Yushan shook his head. "I don't know. The homestead has just been approved before the house can be built. How could he not know?" Li Aiwan lowered her voice subconsciously. "It was said that the superior directly approved it, but Gang Shun didn't even ask who the owner of the house is." Zhao Yulan took a deep breath. "The reason for this is really quite big." Mr. Zhao said in a godlike way, "It's a good thing to be able to go to your village to settle down. If you don't think about your village's good, people can go to settle down." "Well, that's the reason." Hearing the excitement of several people's discussion, Zhou Mikang's hair was black. He originally thought that he would bring them to the scene when Lin Baohe and Zhao Yulan arrived home, and then give them a surprise, but now, don't say anything. It seems a little unreasonable. If no one mentions it, it's fine if he doesn't say it. If he doesn't say it when everyone is discussing it so vigorously, it seems to be a little disrespectful to Mr. Zhao and Mrs. Zhao. Hesitating how to speak, Mr. Zhao, who felt Zhou Mikang was left out in the cold, suddenly looked at him. Little leader, you are from the city, so you may not care about this red brick and big tile house. We country people, that is really enviable. Ah, that house. Zhou Mikang scratched his head, coughed lightly, and looked at Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe. Father, mother, originally, I thought of Dalian village and took you to see it directly. Since uncle and aunt have already met, then I won't hide it, that house was built by us for our parents. It wasn't until they stood in front of the half-built tile-roofed house that Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe realized that this house belonged to them. And Mr. Zhao and Mrs. Zhao, who came together, also looked excited. To take root in a place, the most necessary condition is a house, and in the countryside, no matter which one, if you have spare money, the first thing to do is to flip the house. Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe's calves were trembling with excitement. They never expected that the truth of the change of gift money would be like this. Their worries are so ridiculous. Thinking of the questioning of Zhou Mikang when she arrived in the town, Zhao Yulan wished she could dig a hole and bury herself. They really regarded them as parents, but did they really treat him as their son? Xiao Zhou went back to his little black room and sat down. Lin Baohe looked at Zhou Mikang with an apologetic face. He didn't know what to say when Chi groaned. He just doesn't talk much, he's not a person who doesn't turn his head. Why didn't the Zhou family tell this before? Seriously, are they willing to ask for it? He, Lin Baohe, has no son. Many people in the village don't say anything to his face, but they look down on him behind his back. Now, who else dares to look down on him? Who else dares? What about those with sons? Has the son built a big tile house for them? He didn't covet these houses to be so excited, what he coveted was the feeling of being respected. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 186. One more. Father, if you tell me anything else, you really don't treat me as a family. Lin Baohe had been contemplating his thank you words for a long time, but Zhou Mikang blocked them back in a daze, and then smiled naively. Okay, this time Dad won't be polite to you, but you have to take the passbook back. Zhao Yulan quickly took out the passbook and handed it to Zhou Mikang. She was ashamed to speak because of her previous behavior. Anyway, she didn't have the nerve to say a word about the house from Zhou Mikang. Mother, Dad's current body must be taken care of. This money is my pocket money for you and Dad. After a while, I will send it to you after I get paid. Zhou Mikang paused as he spoke. Laughed embarrassedly. I almost forgot, my salary will be handed over to Chu Xia for safekeeping in the future. I don't care if I say it. That girl. The daughter's behavior made Zhao Yulan even more embarrassed. Xiao Zhou, don't listen to her nonsense, she is not a good housekeeper, let her pay you the allowance, and you will be the housekeeper. My granddaughter is not simple, I am really relieved at the moment. Mrs. Zhao smiled happily, and almost slapped her legs to express her congratulations. Mr. Zhao also nodded again and again. My grandson-in-law treats my granddaughter well, I am really relieved now. Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe were completely speechless, but they were also secretly happy. The son-in-law loves the daughter so much, why are they worried? When I came to Dalian village, I naturally had to go to see Grandpa Dagong, to see that the time was still early. Lin Baohe accompanied Zhou Mikang to Grandpa Dagong's house. Knowing that the team leader who is going to marry Chu Xia is actually Zhou Mikang, Grandpa Dagong was so shocked that he kept his mouth shut for a long time. Previously, Lin Baohe and Luo Gangshun came to him to inquire about it, but he 200% denied the possibility that Zhou Mikang was the head of the regiment who was fancying Chuxia. According to what he knows, Zhou Mikang's children should be able to run away by now. Could it be that they are divorced? Or something happened, gone? For a while, Grandpa Dagong conceived countless possibilities in his mind, but he finally didn't have the nerve to ask. After all, he was his wife, and he was suspected of sabotaging the marriage by asking at this moment. But the doubt on his face was written clearly, at this age. They are all old and mature, and it is by no means difficult to control their emotions. He did this on purpose. Seeing his expression, Joe Mikang understood what he was thinking, so he calmly explained to him, "Mr. Chen, I know that when Grandpa met you, he said a few things about the younger generation. Grandpa made an engagement for me back then, but the engagement was cancelled later, and I have been single all these years. My relationship with Chu Xia. It was agreed by my grandfather and my parents. When my father and mother were there, they also made a formal decision. The wedding date was set on the 9th day of September. Then I'm relieved." Grandpa Dagong heaved a sigh of relief. "Repeat again, then I can rest assured, I watched Chuxia grow up. She is a good girl, Xiaozhou. You have vision, you really have vision." He learned that the sensational house in the village was a gift from the Zhou family to the Lin family. Grandpa Dagong was really moved. He patted Zhou Mikang's shoulder hard. "Xiaozhou, you did this beautifully. From now on, no one will dare to look down on your father. Building a house and giving money are completely two concepts. Lin Baohe has only one daughter, and many people call him extinct behind his back, implying that after Lin Baohe and Zhao Yulan 100 years later, this family will be gone. Although building a big house will not change the situation that they are still extinct, but with such a son-in-law, is there any need to worry about being old and homeless? Here, basically only the son wants to marry a daughter-in-law when he grows up, and the father goes bankrupt to build a house for his son. If there is a son who builds a house for me, the villagers from 10 miles and 8 villages will compliment the father of that family. A few words. What's wrong with my daughter? What happened to Chuihu? He lived in the big tile-roofed house that they couldn't live in. This is face. This is a face that no one can shake." Chen Fenggang has always been ashamed of Lin Baohe. Now seeing that he has finally come out, he is really happy for him from the bottom of his heart, so he is inevitably a little excited. Feeling the excitement from the strong pat on the shoulder, Zhou Mikang was also secretly glad that he had made such a decision, but he really didn't know about building a house before, and there were so many reasons. "I chose this way at the time, thanks to Zhenmei's reminder." It was before getting engaged. Zhenmei went to Zhou's house to play, and asked him how much gift money he wanted to give to the Lin family. Considering that Zhenmei had done a lot for him and Chu Xia, he told him directly. At that time, Zhenmei asked him, "Did you give the money to the Lin family? Did you want them to spend it, or did you want to keep it temporarily?" He replied 2 words to the other party, "Nonsense." Zhenmei analyzed the personalities of Lin Baohe and Zhao Yulan for him very seriously. If he gave them so much money, they would definitely not be willing to spend it. No matter what he said or how he expressed his sincerity, they would not. It was spent, so the gift money he gave would eventually come back where it came from. Then, she told Zhou Mikang what she saw about the housing conditions of the Lin family when she went to the Lin family. She said that it was basically a black hole covered in the ground. In winter, or better, in summer, it is absolutely airtight. Hot as hell. For the latter, naturally Zhenmei didn't need to say anything. He immediately approved the homestead from the county through his family's relationship, and hired a professional construction team. Otherwise, how could there be such a fast speed? His purpose at that time was to make Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe live more comfortably, but he never thought that he would hit the right way and give the old man a prestige. At this time, Zhao Yulan, who was chatting with Mr. Zhao and Mrs. Zhao on the Kong, also had a look of contentment on her face. After seeing the brand new big tile-roofed house that was half-built, she also remembered something. Once, Zhou Mikang specifically asked her and Lin Baohe whether they would like to live in Dalian village or Xiaolin village. At that time, she said without thinking, living in Xiaolin village is close to her mother's house and can be away from her husband's troubles. Of course she is happy, but then someone will gossip about Lin Baohe and say that he is a married woman. Li Aiwanshan also echoed that if she was not afraid of people gossip, she really wanted to take Lin Baohe and Zhao Yulan to live with her during this time. Later, the topic changed and the matter was not mentioned again. But it turned out that when he asked at the time, he was actually thinking about where to build a house for them. Hearing what Zhao Yulan said, the old lady Zhao hit her on the head angrily. "You elm heads, if you build a house in Xiaolin village, who would dare to say that Baohe is married? That's good, the good opportunity to leave your unreasonable parents-in-law is just ruined by you for nothing, hey." Zhao Yulan sighed helplessly. "Mom, I didn't know that he was going to build a house for us, but it would be nice to be able to build it behind Gang Shun's house." The old lady Zhao stared at her in disbelief. "Is it better to be closer to your father, mother, elder brother and sister-in-law, or to be closer to Luo Gangshun and Fat Aunt?" Zhao Yulan smiled flatteringly. "Mom, isn't this already the case? You have to let me find some plausible reasons to make myself feel better." Mr. Zhao took a puff of his cigarette pouch and asked, "You have established your prestige in the village, but if your father-in-law and mother-in-law come here, what will you do? They said by themselves at the time that they kicked us out of the Lin family. What can they do when they come here? This house was built for us by my son-in-law, so what does it matter to them? That's their grandson-in-law." Mr. Zhao paused and sighed. "With such a big house standing here, we can't keep the engagement a secret. Just look at it, the old couple will definitely not let you pass the test so easily. They said it would be easy not to let you go, but if you think about not letting them go, it might not be that easy." Zhao Yulan couldn't help frowning. "Then what else? They want to come and live too. I can't tell you if you can't live here. Anyway, it's indispensable to come and discuss you every 3 days." Mr. Zhao sighed again. "Why didn't your mother and I agree to marry Baohe back then? I just didn't like you." The temperament of the mother-in-law and father-in-law, when there is an advantage, she sharpens her head and drills forward, and when there is a difficulty, she retreats with anger. They can quarrel if they want. Anyway, when we separated, we made it clear that we don't want anything. We will live our own lives in the future. We don't have to worry about anything else except paying pensions every year. When I said this at the time, the whole village is here, I don't believe they can be ashamed. In order to live a better life for themselves, they tricked us into taking Chu Xia into Shui's trap. Now, seeing that Chu Xia has found a good husband's family, they only want to get something out of it. Anyway, even if no one says I'm good, I can't let them rely on my daughter to live a good life. When they live a good life, when did they think about my daughter? I got married, when did they treat me as their daughter-in-law? Since when did they become granddaughters in the summer? Remember now? Late." The old lady Zhao patted Zhao Yulan's head amusedly. "I'm about to become a grandma," and she babbled like a child for a while. "That's all right, knowing that you have this determination, your father and I can rest assured. This person, if he is really greedy, it is a bottomless pit. If you fill him up once, he will come to you again next time. Don't fill him up from this time. If there is no benefit for a few times, they will stop. Mother, don't worry, I will definitely not be able to fill them in. I will not short them of the food that should be given to them for a year. Besides, he won't even try to take away any of my share." "That's it." Mr. Zhao knocked his cigarette pouch on the edge of the Kong, and took another 2 sips. "People need face in life, but they can't be face with such a fool. When Baohe comes back, I have to ask he." You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First Marriage Then Love, Mr. Mayor Please Be Kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 187. The second update arrives, and there will be another update today. Father, they are Baohe's real parents after all, let him decide what to do. What Zhao Yulan meant was to prevent Mr. Zhao from interfering in the affairs of Lin Baohe and his parents-in-law. Although they were a single-minded couple, she still didn't want Lin Baohe to make a choice under the pressure of the Zhao family. The old lady Zhao also echoed, "Yes, old man, Yulan has an idea, so don't follow along." "How is this called blind mixing?" Mr. Zhao waved his hand. "Forget it, you can figure it out yourself. If you let me know that the old couple took advantage of my granddaughter, then you will not enter the old Zhao's house in the future." "Father, do you think I'm that cowardly?" Thinking about it carefully, although Zhao Yulan did not enjoy any blessings when she married into the Lin family, let alone the benefits of her parents-in-law, but she was never a victim of being bullied by her parents-in-law. "I don't get involved in things." Over there, Lin Baohe and Zhou Mikang came out from Grandpa Dagong's house and then went to Luo Gangshun's house. What they said was almost the same as Grandpa Dagong's house. The reactions of Luo Gangshun and Aunt Fat were also similar to Grandpa Dagong's. The difference is that Auntie Fatty's eyes almost closed at the thought of being neighbors with the Lin family in the future. She was sincerely happy for Lin Baohe and Zhao Yulan, and she didn't even feel jealous or bitter. The main thing is that her daughter is not bad either. She has become the dean's assistant after just 1 month. Although she doesn't quite understand what that assistant means, she can figure it out when she thinks about it. It is definitely not comparable to ordinary soldiers. Speaking of the in-laws family, the Luo family and the Zhao family can be regarded as well known. Therefore, compared to the high marriage in early summer, she has nothing but blessings. Early the next morning, at dawn, Zhou Mikang took Mr. Zhao and Mrs. Zhao away from Dalin village. Mr. Zhao got up before dawn and said that he couldn't sleep after changing the Kong, so he had to go back to catch up on sleep. From what they said last night, he could roughly guess what they meant. It was nothing more than that they didn't want him to meet the old man and the old lady of the Lin family. He really couldn't find a position to face the old man and the old lady of the Lin family, and avoiding them was probably the best way. Therefore, he didn't expose them and obediently obeyed their arrangements. Moreover, he has known for a long time that as long as Chu Xia's interests are involved, Lin Baohe is by no means a master who will be bullied. So, he has nothing to worry about. The car arrived at Xiaolin village, unloaded everything. Zhou Mikang returned to City A. When he told Chu Xia's queen in detail about everything after arriving at Hunky Commune, she wasn't worried about the conflict between her parents and her grandparents. After all, the two families had separated long ago, and were later kicked out of the Lin family by the old couple. Even if the old couple wanted to rely on her house, it was impossible. As for the old man Lin, Mrs. Lin can't touch anything. That's simply unrealistic. That's her father's real parents. Her grandparents. Forget it, let's be less reliant. She is far away, and she doesn't want to interfere with what her parents do. As long as they feel comfortable, they can do whatever they want. When one day she is capable, she will bring her parents to her side, and whoever wants to bully them will have no place to bully them. So, what she has to do is to work hard on her own. I have been with Dr. Song Xiao for 3 days, and he still basically ignores her, or is this the teacher's test of the students? As for Wang Jing, his attitude toward her has gotten better in the past 2 days, but it's only limited to not treating her like nothing. Occasionally, she heard other people's comments, saying that the assistant director Song brought with him was always Wang Jing. As for the others, as long as they performed a little better, they would definitely be replaced soon. After thinking about it, I know what's going on. Therefore, compared to Song Xiao and Wang Jing's indifference towards her these past few days, other people are very warm to her, looking at her with a hint of pity in their eyes. Also, if she behaves badly, she will be ignored, and if she behaves well, she will be kicked. No matter how you look at it, She is a poor person, and it is right for everyone to pity her. She is still in the recruit stage now, because she has appointed a master, the class time in the morning has been cancelled, and she has to study with the master instead. In the afternoon, she still has to go back to training, so she doesn't feel much other than being busy. Seeing Joe Mikang now, I couldn't help but secretly slander him. What a narrow-minded man. Originally, she really didn't think much about it. After running away for a few days, she finally understood, why did he appoint her a master early? In this way, you can stay away from Jingzhe. Even Lu Meijun said pitifully to her, I really don't know if it is good luck or toss, others are sitting comfortably in the classroom to listen to the class, but she has to get up early and run to find the neglect. Well, the only advantage is that this kind of exercise it will make her body stronger and stronger. Without direct competition, there will be no big disturbances. Therefore, apart from everyone's dissatisfaction with her bad luck at first, and then, seeing her busy every day like a dead dog, everyone's little jealousy towards her, and it disappeared. Compared with her, they are so much happier. They can still see the handsome teacher Jing every day, and they can also study medical knowledge well. Then, after the exam is over in 2 months, they will decide who they want to study with, to be a doctor. Still a nurse. Although unknown, but there is hope. It's so pitiful for her to be ignored by the teacher like this. Well, that sentence came again, where there is competition, there is jealousy. Now, everyone's jealous eyes turned to Wu Jingbo. Why, she decided early to be by Teacher Jing's side. Teacher Jing belongs to everyone. Girls' jealousy is sometimes terrifying. It is said that in the past few days, some unknown objects will appear on Wu Jingbo's bed from time to time. For example, earthworms that can crawl, beanworms that can move, frogs that can jump. Although Wu Jingbo, who has studied Chinese medicine since childhood, is not afraid of these things, they are not scary when placed on the bed, they are disgusting. After a period of time like this, Chu Xia, who felt like she was running out of breath every day, finally received a letter from her father and mother, saying that the big tile house at home had been built. After one night's work, there were more furniture, a bicycle, and a sewing machine inside. Many people in the village went to see it, and their envious eyes almost fell out. That's a shiny new bicycle and a shiny new sewing machine. Unexpectedly, Mrs. Lin and Mrs. Lin came to the door, and solemnly announced to Lin Baohe and Zhao Yulan that the blood relationship will never be broken. The implication is, do you want to ignore them? There is no way. Her father, Lin Baohe, was also very helpful, telling the old couple directly that he never planned to break off the blood relationship, it was them who wanted to break off. They said what they said, and they did what they did. Now they came to the door to try to trick his daughter, no way. He also said that he will fulfill his son's obligations to the end, and promised to give the old couple's pension every year, and there will be no loss. As for the other side, it's better to worry about it. The old couple deliberately touched the shiny new cabinets and cabinets, saying that if they could use such furniture in this life, they would die in peace. Lin Baohe didn't pretend to be confused, so he said that the house was built by his son-in-law. Thinking about how they treated his daughter before, they were ashamed to come and live, but he was too embarrassed to let them come. Seeing this sentence, Chu Xia immediately sprayed it. His father is also smart. If he said that as long as the old man and the old lady are willing to come and live, the old couple will definitely live there with their luggage. In short, her mother's letter was to tell her that everything was fine at home, so she should not read it. The next day when she saw Luo Xiaoxian, the other party also received letters from Uncle Gang Shun and Aunt Fat, the meaning of which was similar to that written in Zhao Yulan's letter, but they still reported good news but not bad news. For example, everyone has never seen Zhou Mikang, so there are all kinds of guesses about the son-in-law of the Lin family who suddenly appeared, and even guessed that he was in his 40s to 70s, From lame to blind. Grandpa Rendagong helped to explain, but the villagers didn't believe it. Anyway, everyone agreed that the conditions are so good. Everyone didn't know that Chusia married the head of the group. They just judged from the building of the house that the conditions were good. They rushed to build a big tile house for the woman's house. If there were no disadvantages, how could it be possible? For such comments, Luo Xiaoxian was so angry that her nose was crooked, but Chusia just laughed it off, and she can talk about it as she likes. Sooner or later, she will bring Zhou Mikang home in a fair manner, and then let everyone see, what is he doing? How old is he lame or blind? During the process, each class re-elected the squad leader, or everyone knew that everyone would go their own way in 3 months, and no one was so eager for the position of squad leader. Anyway, after the democratic election of the 3rd class, Qiaoning II was still the monitor. As for the other classes, most of the former monitors were re-elected. The relationship between everyone is still the same as before. Yuan Mengmeng is still so willing to criticize, and Zhang Erniu is still so humble. 3 months later, the day to decide everyone's fate finally arrived. Although Chu Xia and Wu Jingbo had already decided where to go, they still wanted to take the exam with everyone, marking the end of their 3-month recruit career. Rarely, when she asked for leave to take the exam in early summer, Song Xiao gave her a serious look. Take the exam well, don't embarrass me. After being stunned for a while, Chu Xia nodded flattered, yes, thank you teacher. When she came out of the room, Song Xiao had a smile on her face, and called the old lady Zhou, Aunt Zhou, I think this child is really good. Your test can be over, right? The other end of the phone was silent for a while, and said, let's have a look again. Song Xiao had no choice but to hang up the phone. After thinking about it, she called Zhou Mikang again. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 188. It's 3 o'clock. Zhou Mikang was a little surprised when he received Song Xiao's call, so he jokingly said, Aunt Song, how do you have time for me as a busy person? Song Xiao chuckled, Brat, just throw your wife to me and leave it alone. She's Aunt Song's soldier now, how can I interfere indiscriminately? Okay, that's what you said, so I'll follow the old lady's orders and let her hang out for a few more months. After finishing speaking, Song Xiao hung up the phone with a snap. Zhou Mikang hurriedly dialed back, Aunt Song, how can you put down the phone as soon as you say it? I haven't finished talking yet. My grandma called you. Hey, Song Xiao sighed softly, I called her. In the past, I tested students for a month. It's been 2 months. That girl hasn't complained, which is very rare. To be honest, I don't want to waste any more time, but the old lady doesn't seem to have finished venting her grievances. Xiaomi, you were also raised by Aunt Song. It's rare to meet someone who is sweet, and Aunt Song doesn't want to bother you anymore. But the old lady's words are here, and I can't go against her. If I don't say anything about Wang Jing, someone will tell her that it will be meaningless to cause a rift between the two families because of this matter. What do you think? Aunt Song, I see, thank you. After hanging up the phone, Zhou Mikang let out a long breath, and then scratched his head in confusion. After all, it has been 2 months since the engagement. Since the engagement, Chu Xia hasn't visited Zhou's house even once. The reason is very simple. Mrs. Zhou said that she didn't want to see Chu Xia before she fully agreed with this marriage. If you still respect her, the elder of the Zhou family, you must do what she asks. The old lady looks like this. Zhou Mikang also didn't want to take Chu Xia back to see her face, so. During the 2 months of their engagement, only Lin Yangkai came to see Chu Xia once, and it was secretly in Zhou Mikang's office. Both Zhou Jiping and Zhou Xiangping asked Zhou Mikang to bring a message to Chu Xia. They didn't come because they were afraid that grandma would be unhappy, but because they didn't want grandma to catch her and make use of it. As for Lin Yangqiu, it was because she was worried that Chu Xia would think too much. Came here to explain. Fortunately, Chu Xia expressed complete understanding of Lin Yangqiu's explanation, and also expressed complete understanding of not going to Zhou's house for a period of time. A certain Xia expressed great cheers for not going to Zhou's house for the time being. How can you not understand? In fact, the head of the group, Tongzi, should also understand Chu Xia's thoughts, but he is not willing to believe this cruel reality. If Song Xiao didn't care about the old lady's opinion, it's related to Chu Xia's future, the head of the group, Tongzi, will not be entangled in the old lady's attitude. With his deep understanding of the old lady, he was almost completely sure. In time, the one who loves Chu Xia the most is probably the old lady. The old lady is such a person, if she recognizes someone, she will not change easily. It has been 6 years since he and Yamiru broke up. The old lady still can't forget. However, because he wanted the old lady to accept Chu Xia, he couldn't reveal what happened to Yamiru back then. After all, more than 6 years have passed, and now it's time to turn over old scores. That's not his style. He didn't say it back then, and he won't say it now. But for early summer, the problem must be solved. Grandma, Chu Xia is your granddaughter-in-law. You also hope that she will be successful, right? Sitting in front of Mrs. Zhou Mikang asked straightforwardly. What's so good about her? Mrs. Zhou looked at him indifferently. Except for that appearance, expertise, and education, what else can she do? She wants to be a good doctor, Grandma. Even if you can't accept her in a short time, don't delay her future. Zhou Mikang used an affirmative sentence, and the old lady smiled speechlessly after hearing this. Are you teaching me a lesson? I'm just talking about the facts, so don't make it difficult for Aunt Song, Zhou Mikang said and put the phone in front of her. Grandma, please call Aunt Song and ask her to start teaching Chu Xia. Why don't you put a knife on my neck? The old lady slapped Zhou Mikang on the forehead. You are really promising, you dare to threaten me, little thing. Just because I spoil you doesn't mean I will go along with everything. Look at you, this matter, you have your attitude, I also have mine. Let me call Song Xiao. It's impossible. Lin Yangqiu and Yu Tao, who were listening, shrank their necks unconsciously. The old lady slapped her so hard that they all heard a slap. Mr. Zhou, pretending to flip through the newspaper, coughed lightly. I heard that Song Xiaoming's eldest daughter-in-law is pregnant with twins. Alas, Lao Song is about to embrace his great-grandson. Song Xiaoming is Song Xiao's elder brother. Of course, old Song is Song Xiao's father. He is about the same age and level as Mr. Zhou. Now he is retired and stays at home. He usually reads newspapers and plays chess when he has nothing to do. He and Mr. Zhou are also considered old chess friends. As for Mrs. Zhou and Mrs. Song, they can be regarded as old sisters for a lifetime, but the difference between women and men is that they are always compared. There is a grandson, and now that the grandson has grown up, he starts to compare who will have the great-grandson first. Mr. Zhou's words are clearly reminding Mrs. Zhou that only with a granddaughter-in-law can she have a great-grandson hug, and only then can you be straighter than Mrs. Song. Sure enough, what he said made Mrs. Zhou dumbfounded. After a while, she waved her hand at Zhou Mikang. Sit aside, I want to make a call. Yes, Zhou Mikang sat aside neatly, and graciously moved the phone to Mrs. Zhou's lap. The old lady just gave him a blank look. She hasn't seen this stubborn grandson pay so much attention to anyone's affairs. Otherwise, his stubborn temper would come to beg her. Humph, if she doesn't take this opportunity to treat him well, how can she have the opportunity to have such an addiction in the future? If the group leaders Heisa knew what the old lady was thinking, I don't know what it would be like. In short, from the second day on, although Song Xiao was still not very enthusiastic about Chu Xia, She had already started to teach her seriously. Hey, there are 3 books piled up in front of Chuxia now, and she is required to take a random test in 1 month, and if she can score more than 80 points, she can proceed to the next step of study. Of course, Song Xiao also said that with this process, Chuxia can finish the 5-year course taught by other people in 1 year. As for whether she can meet this requirement, it depends on her luck. Chuxia was overjoyed when she heard that. Did she mean that if she finished her 5-year courses in 1 year, then she would be able to jump straight into master's degree or PhD? Of course, at this moment, she only dared to think about it in her heart. If she asked, Song Xiao would probably be able to throw a book and half of her face would be swollen. The test results of the medical team also came out. Although they didn't stay in the team to attend classes in the past 2 early summers, they still got the second best results in the team. The first is of course Wu Jingbo's. After the other people's grades are published, their whereabouts will be announced 3 days later. This batch of medical team trainees is considered to be a pilot program, and they adopt the method of taking care of the old and the young. That is to say, after the recruit training is over, the excellent doctors and nurses of Division A will select the apprentices they want to lead. Teach carefully and then enter the internship period and be assigned to various medical teams. Those who pass the test can be transferred to the official establishment, and those who fail will be repatriated. Fortunately, there are no unqualified students in this exam, so the next step is to let the masters choose people. As for which of the students are practicing medicine and which are nursing, it is based on the usual test results and the comprehensive evaluation of this time. Anyway, not whoever wants to learn can learn anything. 3 days later, Zhengmei appeared in front of everyone holding a stack of papers. Looking around, Zhengmei's eye circles were a little red when she saw the excited and apprehensive little faces. She had been together day and night for 3 months and was about to be separated. She was also a little bit reluctant. Relax. Stand at attention. After I read the list, the women's medical team will be temporarily disbanded. Of course, this is not a real disbandment, but a process for everyone to learn knowledge and skills. I hope that 1 year later, when our medical unit officially enters the army, everyone who is here today will participate in it. No matter how many students are recruited in the future, everyone is different, because you are the first batch, or maybe the last batch. Because I just got the news that a medical university has started recruiting students this year, so, or from next year, there will be no more training in this form, so you guys are different. This form of training can only be truly retained by the strong. You have to spend 2 to 3 years to complete the 5-year study of others. Therefore, I can tell you with certainty that when one day you switch to a formal establishment, it means that you are the strongest. Haha. Zhengmei's words were so inspiring that the applause from the small team of 100 people was louder than that of the big team of 500 people. The next step is to read the name and score, which doctor or nurse has already claimed it. Well, you can only use the word claim, and it is still one-on-one. Lu Meijun, who had a good relationship with Chuxia, became a preparatory nurse, and Zhang Erniu, as expected, was also a preparatory nurse. Qiaoning Ai, Yang Xiali, Lin Mengran, and Chu Xiaojing are the preparatory doctors. Yuan Mengmeng, Qi Jihong, and Sun Shangmei are reserve nurses. Including Chu Xia, the ratio of doctors to nurses is exactly 5:5, and among the 10 classes, it is regarded as a class with better grades. Unable to achieve the expected goal, Lu Meijun felt a little gloomy. Chu Xia patted her on the back lightly, without saying anything. At this time, any comfort is useless, and silent encouragement is what the other party needs most. As for Zhang Erniu, she was very happy to keep her, so when she announced that she was also claimed, the corners of her mouth went up to her ears. Seeing her like this, Lu Meijun's gloomy mood also shone with a glimmer of light, so she smiled at Chu Xia. Actually, being a nurse is pretty good, At least I have the opportunity to be the head nurse, and you have no chance. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 189. Nurse head, Zhang Ernia blinked her small eyes, then blinked again. Do you think I have a chance to be the head nurse in this life? Anything is possible if you work hard. Really? Zhang Ernia's eyes lit up. Chu Xia, you didn't lie to me, did you? Chu Xia nodded. I won't lie to you. I'm not lying to you. Who are you lying to? Yuan Mengmeng poked her head over and added, she was not selected as a preparatory doctor, she was in a depressed mood, and she was very interested in things that could cause trouble for others. Zhang Ernia was taken aback for a moment, then smiled naively, I am very happy to be a nurse. I will write to my parents in a while to make them happy too. They have always been afraid that I will be kicked back. Yuan Mengmeng, who didn't succeed in his wishful thinking, looked at Zhang Ernia with a speechless expression on his face. Yang Xiaoli stepped forward and pinched her, you deserve it? I see, if you put your joker's mind on the real thing, nothing will trouble you. Qi Jihong covered his mouth and smiled, Xiaoli, if Mengmeng stopped making fun of people, can you adapt? Yuan Mengmeng rolled his eyes at Qi Jihong, hey, you also lost the election, what's so beautiful about it? Angel in white, what's wrong? Qi Jihong spread his hands, and with my guts, do you think it's possible to be a doctor? Yang Xiaoli patted Yuan Mengmeng on the shoulder, Mengmeng, you have to learn from Jihong, at least she knows what she can and cannot do. Yuan Mengmeng rolled her eyes at her, anyway, you are seeing me getting more and more disliked. Yuan Mengmeng. Sun Shangmei walked over, do you have the guts to compete with me to see who will become a regular first? Yuan Mengmeng rolled his eyes, why should I compare with you? It's inexplicable. Scared, Sun Shangmei pouted. I figured it out, You're just a big talker, in fact. You're a coward. Who do you say is a coward? Yuan Mengmeng really wanted to step forward and grab Sun Shangmei's collar, but, thinking of the difference in strength between the other party and herself, she successfully persuaded herself not to be brave. You, Sun Shangmei snorted coldly, I have already proposed to several other people, only you dare not agree, what are you not a coward? You. Yuan Mengmeng glanced across the faces of Qi Jihong, Lu Meijun, and Zhang Erniu. Are you actually agreeing to this lunatic? Several people looked at each other, then nodded. Qiao Ning I came over, on this matter, I have to review myself. Although I am the monitor of the third class, compared with Sun Shangmei, I feel ashamed. She did this because she didn't want anyone in the third class to fall behind, and we Jiaoning I had a point of view on Chu Xia, Wu Jingbo, Lin Mengran, and Chu Xiaojing all accepted her proposal. Yuan Mengmeng had a funny face on his face, no way, who is she going to compete with you to become a formal doctor first? She asked us to make an agreement to see who would become an official military doctor first. Okay. I accept your challenge. Yuan Mengmeng looked at Sun Shangmei, I promise, I will convince you when the time comes, I am not as good as you in terms of strength. However, being a nurse is not about brute force. Understand? Beep beep beep. The familiar whistle sounded, and everyone looked solemn. Quickly lined up. Zheng Meili, who was standing in front of the team, had a smile on her face, not bad, everyone's reaction speed. I have finally confirmed my work for the past 3 months. Next, everyone will go their separate ways. However, no matter where you go, you represent the women's medical team. Even if one day, it becomes a formal organization, you will still be a member of the women's medical team. Therefore, I hope that in this year when everyone is going their separate ways, always remind yourself that what you do represents not only yourself, but also dozens of other sisters. One prospers and one loses all. No matter how many fights happened in these 3 months, it is our internal conflict. If we are together at this age, if there is no fight at all, it will be too bloodless, right? Yes. However, after going out, if this kind of thing happens again, it will be a joke. So, I don't need to tell you what to do in the future, right? I know, if anyone dares to bully our medical team, they must rush forward. Coax. Amidst everyone's laughter, Zenmei stared speechlessly at the second person who answered her immediately, Sun Xiaoyi, come out. Yes, a tall, strong, dark-faced female soldier from Squad 5 strode forward. Tell me, how many fights have you had in these 3 months? Sun Xiaoyi scratched his head, Captain, I haven't counted. Is it not counted or can't be counted? Zenmei snorted coldly, you didn't count, but I will remember it for you. In 3 months, you fought more than 20 fights, with an average of 1 fight every 4 days. Do you think are you here to be a soldier, or are you here to find sandbags for you to practice? Coax. The booing from the crowd not only did not embarrass Sun Xiaoyi, but puffed out his chest, report to the captain, you can't blame me for this. Soldiers must be bloody. Of course, I can't pretend to be cowardly to those who openly make fun of me. Then tell me, are you black or not? Not black. Ha ha ha. Everyone immediately burst into laughter. The person dug out of the coal pile felt that he was not black. Then I really don't know if there are any black people in this world. Zenmei looked helpless. Okay, maybe we have different definitions of black, so tell me, who in this team has the darkest skin? There are too many to count. Okay, then tell me, who do you think you are as white as? Wu Jingbo. Ha ha ha. Everyone was really laughing like crazy at the moment. Many team members squatted on the ground and covered their stomachs, and there were a few who simply sat on the ground and covered their stomachs and laughed. They were described as white like Sun Xiaoyi and Wu Jingbo. It's a wry smile, her complexion is clearly too pale, okay. What exactly was that look in the eyes of Sun Xiaoyi, who was dug out of the coal pile like a black elephant? Zenmei was also speechless. She just wanted to correct Sun Xiaoyi through the simplest question, lest she go to a new place. She still likes to fight so much, if not for her solid medical skills. Fighting was always on point, so she really didn't dare to keep her in the medical team. This moment, Zenmei was really not sure. Sun Xiaoyi could confidently think that she was right even when the facts were on the surface. After that, she suddenly felt a headache. I can take one step at a time. If Sun Xiaoyi can't stay in the medical team in the end, he can't blame others. Love is love. But in the army, lack of organization and discipline is the worst thing. Let Sun Xiaoyi return to the team, Zenmei continued the topic just now, nothing more than let everyone go to a new place, respect teachers and friends, learn more and read more, hold a tea party at night, the next day. Everyone can go to their new posts to report. Most of the members of the medical team stayed in the resident hospital, and a small part was assigned to 401, of course. Regardless of whether you are studying medicine or nursing, those who can go to 401 are all with outstanding grades. For example, the third class in early summer. Luo Xiaoxian went to 401 first, and now she is officially stationed in 401. Qiaoning Ai, Yang Xiaoli, Lin Mengran, and Chu Xiaojing were all ranked in the front, but they were also picked by the 401 doctor. Lu Meijun, Yuan Mengmeng, and Qi Jihong were picked away by the excellent nurses of 401. Sun Shangmei and Zhang Ernia will stay at the resident hospital, which is the hospital where Liang Xiangyang is the director. The resident hospital is located outside the A Division's garrison. This hospital is mobile. If the A Division's resident is relocated, the resident hospital must follow the relocation. The main service targets are the officers and soldiers of the army. In terms of conditions, it is more difficult than 401, and in terms of medical skills, it is also a little worse than 401. However, for minor injuries during general training, or sudden minor ailments, officers and soldiers are treated in the resident hospital. This time, there were 100 members of the women's medical team, including Logoziokshan, exactly 101 members. A total of 26 members were assigned to 401, and 75 members were assigned to the resident hospital. All in all, Class 3's grades are definitely on the upper side. This also made Shuxia really realize Sun Changmei's character. Although she was assigned to the resident hospital, she was really happy when she learned that her class was the best among the 10 classes. Holding everyone's hand, exhorting endlessly. At the same time, an agreement was made to compete and make progress. She didn't understand such a person at first, but after getting along with her for so long, she liked Sun Changmei a little bit. Although he was a bit rigid at times, this kind-hearted person was a real friend who could make friends. Zhou Mikang sat in the office, staring out the window, a little dazed. Starting tomorrow, that little girl will go to 401. From now on, he wants to see her every day, but it's impossible. Thinking of this, he shook his head amusedly. During this period of time, he has been going to the women's medical team's venue almost every day, and it has become a habit. Boom boom boom. His eyes brightened. Come in. The door was pushed open, but it wasn't the little figure he thought came in. The joy in his eyes disappeared in an instant, and his brows frowned unconsciously. Captain Zhou, I'm here to say goodbye to you. Rao Shui smiled sweetly. Brother Zhou, can I call you that today? Het Zhou looked at her expressionlessly. No. Rao Shui's face froze, and then she returned to her bright smile. My sister is right, Captain Zhou is really boring. I was just joking with you. Am I familiar with you? Zhou Mikang snorted secretly, but said nothing. Silence, sometimes representing protest, is also the most embarrassing. Sure enough, Rao Shui showed a trace of uneasiness. Brother Zhou, I will report to 401 tomorrow, and I won't be able to see you in the future, so, whether you want to talk to me or not, today I have to say what's on my mind. I came to the medical team just to get closer to you. Every time I saw you, I liked you. I was young and you had Sister Ye by your side, so I didn't dare to have any ideas. Now that I have grown up, Sister Ye is no longer by your side, and I know that you have been single all these years. I want to take care of you, is that okay? This is courtship. He was courted by a girl. Zhou Mikang frowned, and pointed at the door with a fierce face. Get out. Brother Zhou, you go to our training ground almost every day. I have noticed that every time you go, you will pay special attention to me. I know you are a proud person. So, let me say this, if you don't agree, if you associate with me, I won't go out. Was it her he had noticed? Snort. What he paid attention to was Lin Chuxia. Okay. That idiot, every time he either runs in front of this woman or runs behind her, sometimes, he really wants to mention that idiot in the past and drag her to run. Why is he so stupid? Been training for 3 months. Physical fitness is still on the bottom. How stupid. Fortunately, they are medical soldiers. If they were ordinary female soldiers, they would have been sent home long ago. Well, with him around, he wouldn't be sent home, he was just making a metaphor. Rao Shui is Rao Ying's younger sister, and Rao Ying is good friends with Yamiru, so that's why. Rao Ying is very clear about the matter between Zhou Mikang and Yamiru, and Rao Shui, who is Rao Ying's younger sister, is also very clear. Also very clear. In the past few years, Rao Shui has been looking for opportunities to get close to Zhou Mikang, but it is a pity. He never attended class reunions, nor socialized with classmates. If it weren't for the new medical team this time, she really wouldn't have had the chance to get close to him. Her physical fitness is not qualified at all, so the special move of the medical soldier is her only chance. For the past 3 months, she has been deliberately trying to get his attention, but unfortunately, she has never found a good opportunity to get close to him. Now, if she doesn't take the initiative, I don't know when the next opportunity will be. So, taking advantage of everyone's dismissal and rest, she mustered up the courage to come to Joe Mikang's office. After the words in her heart came out, she felt relaxed all over her body. Seeing Joe Mikang staring at her without speaking for a long time, she thought that the other party was shocked by her boldness, so she didn't worry and stood there quietly staring at him, waiting for the answer he was expecting. Now she is very confident in herself. These days, the head of the group sneaks a peek at her every day. If she doesn't like it, why do she peek? Go out. Rao Shui's eyes widened in surprise. She didn't understand why the group leader had to be so duplicity. Brother Joe. Joe Mikang interrupted her with a frown. You want me to throw you out? Brother Joe, I'm leaving teacher tomorrow, hey. Rao Shui, who was thrown on the ground, didn't come to her senses for a long time. She didn't understand. Obviously he just seemed to have special feelings for her. Why didn't he dare to admit it after she said it? Hey, it seems that Yamiru hurt her so deeply that she has a psychological shadow on her relationship. Seeing the door of the office open, Rao Shui climbed up on all hands and feet, pretending to be nonchalant and admiring the scenery. It's a hot day in August. I really don't know that she is admiring it. The one who came out was Johan Liang, who took a strange glance at Rao Shui, who was staring at the sun in a daze, shook his head, and entered Joe Mikang's office. Leader, will you participate in the tea party of the women's medical team at night? No. Okay, then I'll tell Zhengmei later. Wait. When Johan Liang walked to the door, Joe Mikang stopped him again. I'll go over and have a look at that time. Okay. Johan Liang was not surprised by the leader's refusal. In the past few months, the leader has successfully refreshed his psychological endurance. At 7 o'clock in the evening, the members of the women's medical team gathered in the large conference room. On the table in front of each person, there were small snacks such as melon seeds and peanut candies, which seemed to be a must for the tea party. After tonight, it's really time to say goodbye to this place. Everyone's faces were filled with sadness. For more than 3 months, they have already developed feelings for this place. Zhengmei is not a strict and unkind captain, and Jingzhe is not a strict and unkind teacher. In addition, human beings are instinctively afraid of new things. Here is more nostalgia. On this day, Liang Xiangyang also appeared. After the routine speech, he sat next to Zhengmei and looked at the time. He really agreed to come. And Zhengmei responded. Liang Xiangyang smiled and shook his head. Is the sun coming out from the west? Zhengmei couldn't help but smile wryly. After scanning around, Liang Xiangyang said, among this batch of students, there are a few outstanding students. We must find a way to return to the station in the future, our people. We can't be cheap 401. Being idle is also idle, Zhengmei asked. Which ones does the dean take a fancy to? Wu Jingbo, Yang Zili, Lin Mengran counted a few favorites. Liang Xiangyang stroked his forehead and sighed. The other one is not bad. It's just that my physical fitness is a bit too weak. Hey, it's a pity. The dean is talking about Lin Chuxia. Right. Physical fitness can be practiced, what is there to regret? Huh, with a cold snort, Liang Xiangyang stopped talking. Zhengmei rolled her eyes, but she realized what he was regretting. Song Xiao was Liang Xianjiang's sister-in-law, so it was impossible. Is he going to rob someone with his sister-in-law? Seeing that the time was pointing to 7:30, Liang Xiangyang waved his hand. Don't wait for them, let's start. Zhengmei glanced out. Here we come. The moment her words fell, Joe Mikang and Johan Liang walked in one after the other, followed by Jingzhe. Seeing a few people, the eyes of most of the team members lit up. No matter which age, the attraction of cardamom age exists. Even if you know you have nothing to do. I will not give up and hope that the prince will notice me. Of course, the princes are limited to Zhou Mikang and Jingzhe, and the most popular one is of course Jingzhe. In terms of appearance, Zhou Mikang and Jingzhe can't say who is better looking, but in terms of personality, there is absolutely no comparison between Zhou Mikang and Jingzhe. When meeting each other, Jingzhe would politely nod and say hello to the team members. And had Zhou met them, has always been ignored. Often after they stop and nod their heads, they find that the head of the group has disappeared. Okay, everyone is ready, the tea party will officially start, Liang Xiangyang said while pushing Zhen Meili. Xiao Zhen, I have taken them for so long, now you have to express it anyway, let's sing a song. Hush huh. No need to say hello, applause rang out. Okay, then I'll play a song. Zhen Meili didn't hesitate at all, thought about it, and announced the title of the song, On Jinshan in Beijing, everyone sing with me. In those days, there were only a few songs that could be sung, so no matter what you sang, as long as you sang it with your mouth, you would definitely get a warm response. Therefore, although Zhen Meili chose a song that everyone could sing, everyone didn't feel disappointed at all. Following Zhen Meili's start, they sang together. After sitting down, Zhou Mikang found Chu Xia in the densely packed head at a glance, the corner of his mouth unconsciously hooked, and Rao Shui, who had been staring at him, couldn't tell what emotion, finally noticed at this time, the group leader's eyes didn't look at her. That's right, since he entered the door, the leader's eyes have not been aimed in her direction, but have been staring in a certain direction to the right, as if he was smiling. Chu Xia's figure suddenly appeared in her mind. She had warned her that Zhou Mikang was her man, yet she still got his hands on him. At this moment, Rao Shui really wanted to go to Chu Xia and question her face to face. Did she go to seduce her man? Anyway, in her eyes, Zhou Mikang, who has not had a new relationship for more than 5 years, is her man. Her sister has said that she looks so similar to Yamiru. Since the leader has never forgotten Yamiru, it means that he likes people with Yamiru's appearance, and she, just conform to. If Lin Chuhan hadn't attracted the head's attention, the head would definitely not have paid attention to Lin Chuxia. Wu Jingbo, who was sitting next to Rao Shui, poked her lightly. Xiaoxiu, you sing very well, why don't you sing one too? Wu Jingbo is one of the few people who knows what Rao Shui is thinking. Looking at Rao Shui's expression now, she knows that she is thinking about Captain Zhou again. Out of the morality of a good friend, she reminded her one time. Sure enough, upon hearing her suggestion, Rao Shui's eyes lit up. Which song do you think I sing the best? They all sound good. Choose one. Let's sing about our soldiers. Wu Jingbo nodded his chin slightly in the direction of Zhou Mikang. They are all soldiers. At this time, it is very appropriate to sing this song. The implication is that the head of the regiment is a soldier, you to please him, of course you have to sing what he likes. Rao Shui is a person who can hold her breath. She didn't get up immediately after Zhen Meili finished singing, but raised her hand after a few better singing players in the team finished singing. What she wants is to be outstanding in comparison. She knew that the head of the group might not like singing, but she was different. What she wanted was for the head of the group to notice her. However, she was destined to be disappointed. Until the end of the tea party, the head of the group didn't look at her. He didn't even glance at her when she was singing. What annoyed her the most was that at the end of the show, Zhou Mikang greeted Lin Chuxia directly, "Come here, I have something to do with you." Qi Shushu looked at Chu Xia in surprise, her face turned red. This dead man definitely did it on purpose. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 191. The third watch arrives, please encourage and caress. Sitting on the playground, gnawing on the big white steamed buns stolen from the cafeteria, Chusia squinted her eyes happily. Mommy, she finally gets to eat steamed buns whenever she wants. Yang Xiaoli looked at her and curled her lips. I really can't see that you can eat so much with such a small body. By the way, where did you eat it? You don't even grow any meat? It's a waste of food. Cut. Chusia glanced at her contemptuously. You think our family has the same conditions as yours, and we can eat as much as we want? Your parents don't even give you a full meal? Are they relatives? Chusia rolled her eyes at her again. Can't understand Chinese? There is a work point system in the countryside, and there are hardly a few families who can eat enough. My parents gave me all the delicious food. Alas, before I'm not sensible, picky eater, so, you understand. Understood, Yang Xiaoli nodded, but Lin Chuxia, did you grow up in the countryside? Of course not. But you really don't look like rural children, and I can't describe that feeling. Anyway, if you stand with them, you can be distinguished from them at a glance. Thank you, I take your words as a compliment. Aren't you wondering why I'm so nice to you all of a sudden? Are you not afraid that I'll put poison in the steamed bun? Chusia swallowed the last mouthful of steamed buns, and patted her swollen stomach in satisfaction. It feels so good to be full, let's poison to death. Yang Xiaoli looked at her a few times. Looking straight, Lin Chuxia. I appreciate you a little now, really. Chusia glanced at her, just because you took me to the cafeteria to steal steamed buns. How dare I follow you without asking? Yes, Yang Xiaoli nodded solemnly, if it were me, I wouldn't dare to follow, and I was worried that you might harm me. I can't find a reason for you to harm me. Chusia looked at her frankly, there is no interest between me and you, no one can choose me as the squad leader, right? Then, you don't like Zhou Mikang either. It can be seen that not only do you dislike him, but you are also quite afraid of him, so even if he wants to marry me, you won't feel anything. As for the others, there is no place for me to threaten you, so think about it. I can't find any reason why you want to hurt me. Then, it's better to trust you once, and if a person always interacts with others in temptation and doubt, then she will never gain her sincerity. So, I'm willing to take a gamble. When I first came to report for duty, I didn't like you very much. Seeing your delicate appearance made me feel sick. But in the later training, your performance made my impression of you better. Meng Meng has been picking on you all the time, but it's not that she really hates you that much, it's just that she was not convinced that I didn't get elected as the class monitor, and she was holding a lot of anger in her heart, and wanted to vent it, but it just so happened that you are that soft persimmon, haha. It really makes sense for a good person to be bullied by others. In the future, no more. No matter whether I can stay in the medical team or not, I won't let her target you again. In fact, it's not easy for you. Just because I ate 3 steamed buns just now. Yes. But. Yang Xiaoli smiled, it's not just about this matter, but also, your overall performance. To be honest, I thought you would be very thrilled and excited if you could marry Zhou Mikang. Trouble becomes a phoenix, not everyone has a chance, right? But your performance is just the opposite. It can be seen that you are not satisfied with this marriage, and you really want to use your own ability to win opportunities for yourself. Lin Chuxia, I apologize for my misunderstanding. Chuxia waved her hand generously, it's okay, I'm used to being misunderstood. Yang Xiaoli. Is there anyone so immodest? Ha. Chuxia smiled at her, sister is not very good at being modest, being humble is pride. You are so cheeky. Yang Xiaoli curled her lips, I thought I was thick-skinned, but compared with you, I'm really not at the same level. Thank you for the compliment. Yang Xiaoli. Did something happen to you, Chu Xia suddenly looked serious. If a person's personality has changed so much suddenly, if he said that there is no chance, I wouldn't believe it if he was killed. I'm not sure yet. Yang Xiaoli sighed. Grandpa loved me the most since I was a child, and he relied on me for everything. I have what my brothers have, and I have what my brothers don't have. Do you know that my elder brothers are very envious of me, but they also love me very much, but compared with Grandpa, their love is nothing at all. My grandfather is a very kind old man. If I can, I am willing to exchange my life for his longevity, but now. Chu Xia didn't say anything, waiting for her to calm down. After a while, Yang Xiaoli continued, he may be terminally ill now, and maybe he still has 3 to 5 months to live. Lin Chuxia, I want to accompany him through the last journey of his life. Chu Xia suddenly said, understood, what you did today was actually intentional. Yes, since I was a child, I was supported and brought up. Besides, I have a good physique, and my cultural classes are also good. When I was in school, I was always a class leader. So, I think, no matter what happens, the class leader will be the leader of the class. Be mine. I was very unconvinced when I was asked to be the deputy squad leader, but I didn't want people to see that I cared about not being the squad leader, so I just pretended to be indifferent. Actually, I cared about it in my heart. Later, I thought, isn't it a fair election? Then I will change my strategy, let everyone accept me, and then defeat my opponent in the election. As a result, just after my plan was implemented, I learned of my grandfather's illness. I couldn't think of any other way. Sending me to the army was because my grandfather wanted to find a future for me. At the same time, it was also to temper my temperament. It was just 2 days ago that I just found out that he even specifically told me not to choose me as the class monitor, not to take care of me in the slightest, but to let me grow up from every little bit like everyone else. Lin Chuxia, growing up to this age, I know that you and Meng Meng and Qi Jihong obeyed my words because of my family, not because of me. In the past, I always didn't want to admit it, and I always lied to myself. They were kind to me because of me. In fact, I have been deceiving myself and others. Without the protection of the Yang family, what am I? To put it bluntly, if something happens to my grandfather, my father and uncles will not develop well, and soon, they will abandon me. Forget it, let's get far. Anyway, I am very conflicted now. I want to go home to be with my grandpa, and I want to make some achievements to show him, but, I'm afraid he won't be able to wait. I don't want to persuade you. In fact, reason is reason, and feelings are feelings. Which one to choose? Everyone has different personalities and different choices, but I believe that no matter which way you choose, your grandfather will be pleased. His granddaughter, sensible. Yang Xiaoli couldn't laugh or cry. Are you praising me or belittling me? Whatever. Lin Chuxia, do you know why I am willing to tell you this? Because I don't praise you. Can you be a little stupid? Stupid, would you still tell me? Huh. Yang Xiaoli rubbed her forehead. Obviously, I was planning to find you out to persuade you, but why did you finally persuade me? Do I need your persuasion? I already know what I should do. I am more sensible than you. Can you compare with me? Lin Chuxia. Yang Xiaoli looked at her with a tangled face. Are you a little too thick-skinned? Could it be that Zhou Mikang likes you because of your thick-skinned? By the way, he used to know about your fiancé, right? I vaguely heard of it. That's good, that's good. Chu Xia looked at her suspiciously. Why this attitude? By the way, why did they break up? It feels like Zhou Mikang has suffered serious emotional trauma. Tell me about it. No. No. No, Yang Xiaoli waved her hands as if she had epilepsy. I don't dare to talk about this matter. You should ask him. He will tell you if he is willing to tell you. If he is not willing to tell you, I suggest, don't ask more questions. As for it, Chusia rolled her eyes, but her curiosity was really aroused, or, one day she would touch the tiger's butt. If the tiger is offended, maybe she will give up the idea of marrying her, and then, she can run wildly on the road of hard work to find her own happiness. Hey, Yang Xiaoli poked Chusia, don't laugh so creepily. Chusia quickly suppressed the unconscious smile, and felt a chill in his heart. Could it be that he was forced not to make a deal? In fact, Zhou Mikang wanted status, appearance, and whatever he wanted. This was the standard: tall, rich, and handsome in her era, and it was beyond the standard. Why did she reject it so much? You'd better ask Zhou Mikang about Luo Xiaoxian's matter. If this continues, the rumors will become worse and worse. Chu Xia was taken aback for a moment, then nodded. Well, how about this? I'll go and take a look at this time. You're just strolling around here, and I'll come find you when I'm done talking. Why, Yang Xiaoli was speechless. Just when I was nice to you, I just kicked my nose. Don't be so narcissistic. Okay. Seeing Chu Xia looking at her pitifully, she frowned and waved in disgust. Go ahead, but hurry up. Okay, thank you. After the voice fell, Chu Xia had already rushed far away, and Yang Xiaoli, who was thrown on the playground by a lonely person, looked at the sky speechlessly. She was really meddling in her own business. Self-inflicted, just bear it yourself. However, it would be nice to have one more friend who can talk and who is barely a friend. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 192. Zhou Mikang didn't know that Chu Xia had bitten her tongue, but she thought that he was calling out to her in front of so many people, and she became angry from embarrassment, and the anger was not light. Otherwise, with her little hedgehog temper, why would she not be willing to discipline him? Leave in a few words. Sleeping with suffocated breath will hurt your body. In line with the principle of considering Chu Xia's health, Zhou Mikang hurriedly took 2 steps to grab her. Okay, don't be angry, or you can hit me twice to relieve your anger. Chu Xia turned her head and stared fiercely at the claw that grabbed her. Xin Xiao, let go. The head of the group, Tongzi, didn't quite understand the meaning of these 2 words, and subconsciously responded with a questioning tone. Hissing took 2 breaths and felt that his tongue was not so sore. Chu Xia spoke again. I told you to let go, what are you talking about? Someone's solemn appearance made the group leader Tongzi laugh out loud. What if I don't let go? Don't forget what you promised me. If you break your promise, I can also break your promise. Zhou Mikang's face sank. What are you thinking about all day in your little head? What do you think I'm thinking? Marrying me makes you so wronged? Are you thinking about breaking off the engagement with me all the time? That's your idea. It's clearly what you mean. Whatever you think, Chu Xia waved his paws. I'm going back to participate in class activities. Captain Zhou, go slowly. The head of the regiment, Zhaizi, was so angry that he really wanted to grab her and give her a hard lesson, but at this moment, if she was left for too long, I'm afraid her dislike for him will be more serious. Forget it. Forgive her once first, if you dare to be so angry with him next time. See how he cleans her up? If you have already engaged with him, you must be with him. Snort. Thinking about going back on your word? There are no doors. The fast-moving head of the regiment, Zhaizi, didn't realize at this moment that at some point his happiness and anger had been completely led away by someone. Lin Chuxia. As soon as he turned into the girls' dormitory area, Chu Xia was startled by the sudden appearance of a black figure. Lin Chuxia, you were the one who seduced Captain Zhou. Right? Rao Shui stared at Chu Xia bitterly. If a knife could kill someone, Chu Xia would probably have died 800 times by now. Crazy. Chu Xia, who was in a bad mood, didn't bother to talk to her. He pushed her aside and moved on. Rao Shui grabbed her anxiously. Stop for me, explain clearly before leaving. I have already told you that he is my man, why are you so despicable? He is your man, so you go to him, why come to me? Chu Xia nodded her hand with his chin. Take your claws away, or you will be at your own risk. Get out. If you don't want me to throw you out, get out. Suddenly, the expression and tone of the group leader Tongzi appeared in Rao Shui's mind. The indignation in my heart was even deeper. This Lin Chuxia, even the tone of her speech was imitating the head of the regiment. How shameless. Think so. The hand that she grasped Chu Xia's sleeve tightened subconsciously. Since when did you seduce him? You got kicked in the head by a donkey. Chu Xia looked at her coldly. Rao Shui, I'll say it again. Let go of your paws, or you will be at your own risk. Meow, one grabs and won't let go. The other one also grabs and refuses to let go, so they will be overbearing? Wouldn't she? It is difficult to beat others, this Rao Shui, she can still beat it? Seeing Chu Xia's anger and thinking about her own strength, Rao Shui had no choice but to let go. Lin Chuxia, can you tell me the truth, do you also like the leader? She let go of her hand, and Chu Xia's anger was not so great. If she didn't understand it, it would be annoying to have such a fly pestering her all the time in the future, so she said, you should ask the head of the group, shouldn't you? Ask me, do you understand? Now you like him and you want to chase him, so the person you are facing should be him, not me. Whether he accepts you, whether he likes you or not is beyond my control, and it is beyond my control. What's the use of you telling me these things? If you have the ability, go and drag him and force him to give you an answer. Is it useful to force? It's not that she didn't force her, and she was thrown out. If she dared to force her again, she would be a fool. Isn't it because she has nothing to do, so she came to find out about the situation? Rao Shui slandered secretly, and squeezed out a smile. Lin Chuxia, I know it's wrong for me to force you like this, I just want an answer, do you also like the leader? To tell you the truth, I have liked him for many years, I have liked him since he was with his former fiancée, but I was too young and he belonged, so I had to keep it to myself. When he just broke up with his fiancée, I didn't want to take advantage of others. Later, it was he who couldn't let go, and I was more self-aware, so I didn't bother him. No, since this year, his mood has finally gotten better. Besides, I look somewhat similar to his former fiancée, so I thought, maybe it's time for him to accept me. Unfortunately, now you are here again, Lin Chuxia, I don't care if you like him or not, I have to tell you the truth, with a family like yours, the Zhou family won't take a fancy to you. Instead of being disheartened at that time, it is better to let go now, I promise you, as long as you are useful in the future, I will do my best to help you, okay? Chu Xia stared at Rao Shui amusedly, you mean, you look a lot like the head's fiancé, and the head has not forgotten his ex-fiancé, so you are willing to take over, right? Right. Then go pick it up. And you? Me? Why do you care about me? Chu Xia raised her eyebrows and looked at her, what does your business have to do with me? You mean you will stay away from the regiment leader in the future? No. Then you. After talking for a long time, Rao Shui's complexion became more and more ugly. Isn't this Lin Chuxia too difficult? How can a girl with yellow hair from a poor rural area be so ignorant of current affairs? I don't want to repeat it again, whoever you like. Go after whoever you like, and don't bother me, Chu Xia frowned at her. If you have the ability, tell Captain Zhou not to see me again. Then, I will thank you. You say. Chu Xia interrupted her, I'm leaving teacher tomorrow, what are you worried about? Rao Shui slapped her forehead fiercely, isn't that right, why did she forget this? At that time, she saw that the head of the group left her alone, and she was going crazy. She wanted to find her immediately and warned her to stay away from the head of the group, but forgot. Tomorrow she will go to 401 to report. Even if she wants to get closer to the team leader, it is impossible. I have known the head of the group for so many years, and I have learned a lot about his temper from my sister. Waiting for him to take the initiative to chase girls. Unless the sun comes out from the west. And she stayed in Division A, so she was close to the water, so what was she struggling with? Thinking so, he stopped talking to Chusia and turned back to the dormitory of Class 4. Staring at her back. Chusia was speechless. Unexpectedly, that violent man still has such a loyal fan. After all, didn't he like him for 6 or 7 years? Children of this age are also so precocious. Chusia returned to the dormitory. Naturally, some inquiries from everyone were indispensable, and everyone was still very curious about the leader leaving her alone. It's nothing. Teacher Song asked him to tell me what to bring there tomorrow. Hearing what she said, everyone was stunned. I just thought, how could the head of the group have an intersection with Lin Chuxia? It turns out that it was entrusted by others, so it makes sense. Even Lu Meijun, who was very familiar with Chuxia, didn't have much doubts. After all, the possibility of something happening between the head of the regiment and a small rural female soldier was really too low. Yang Xiaoli, who knew the details, smiled at Chuxia, and pulled her to sit beside her. Tomorrow we will be separated, and each of us will have a show. You should quickly think about what to perform. Qiao Ning just laughed. Does she still need to think about it? The singing is so beautiful, let's sing a few more songs for everyone. Yuan Mengmeng couldn't help but roll his eyes. Lin Chuxia, I found out that you are really a fool. The art troupe is such a good place, but you gave up on it. What's your brain? Chuxia glanced at her lightly. Yuan Mengmeng, I found that you feel uncomfortable when you don't hurt others. What is your brain made of? Yuan Mengmeng snorted coldly, turned his head away from looking at her. Qiao Ning sighed, we will be separated tomorrow, is it necessary? Yuan Mengmeng said unconvinced, I have a good intention, I feel sorry for her, look at her attitude. Chuxia glared at her, speaking well can kill people. Hey, everyone, take a look, what did I bring? Lin Mengran opened the door and came in, proudly raising the bottle in her hand, and Chu Xiaojing, who followed her, looked helpless. Erkuatu, Qiao Ning stared at her in surprise, where did you get the wine? It was stolen from the kitchen. Lin Mengran smiled stealthily, they think they are hiding it well, humph, how can they hide it from me, he said while gesturing everyone to take out the tea mug. I don't know how to drink. Zhang Erniu held up the tea mug with a troubled expression on her face. Can you still drink it? Lin Mengran raised her eyebrows, pour it directly into your mouth and swallow it with a suffocated breath. After drinking this glass of wine, everyone should remember when they leave the house. We are the third class. No matter where you go, you can't lose the face of class 3. While talking, he patted Yuan Mengmeng, did you hear that? You are the one who likes to be a monster in the whole class. Remember, if you let me know that you have lost face in class 3, or helped outsiders deal with the sisters in class 3, don't blame me for being rude. We've been together for so long, and everyone still doesn't know what my family does. Today, I'll tell myself about my family. My family has practiced martial arts for generations, and the Xiangbei Lin family is talking about our family. Qiao Ning gasped, is that the Lin family where 10 people killed a company of devils? That's right. My grandfather's nickname is Ghost Sorrow. Puff. Zhang Erniu blushed and waved her hands, I didn't do it on purpose, there is a bum in our village, and others call him a ghost. Smelly girl, Lin Mengran slapped her. My grandfather's nickname means that devils will commit crimes when they see him. It's not the same thing as that ghost in your village. I know, Zhang Erniu nodded her head in admiration, no wonder you ran so fast, I will know now. Sun Shangmei came over with a wine glass. I admire the hero most, Lin Mengran, let's have a drink. Come on, Lin Mengran happily drank the wine in the mug, poured it for herself, and yelled at everyone, if anyone doesn't drink tonight, it means that they look down on the sisters, and they will leave the third class in the future. When she said this, Yuan Mengmeng and Qi Jihong, who were still so arrogant, hurried over with the mug and Yang Zili drank it. Do they dare not drink it? With wine and songs, this night was the busiest night since enlisting in the army. Everyone doesn't know how to drink, and after a while, all of them blushed, and they talked a lot more freely than usual. Even Yuan Mengmeng, who had always been awkward, stepped forward and hooked Chu Xia's neck. Lin Chuxia, let me tell you, although I laugh at you, I really do it for your own good. You said that you were born in a rural area and your family is not rich, and your health is not good. Why don't you think more about yourself and your family? Think about it. Being a doctor is good, but if you want to do it well and want your parents to live well, have you ever thought about how much effort you have to put in? It's different when you go to the art troupe. You have a good voice, you can play the piano, and you can grow up. Within 2 years, you will be a pillar. Do you understand what a pillar is? Anyone can be gone, but you can't be gone. At that time, if you ask for a suite and take your parents over, it won't be difficult at all. You fool, a fool who doesn't understand anything, such a good opportunity is wasted in vain. If I have that kind of opportunity, I will definitely seize it. I am jealous of you, but I am confused, what can I say? Never play tricks behind your back. You don't play tricks, Sun Shangmei stepped forward and patted her, you don't play tricks, but you like to complain, and I will say something for your own good. From now on, when you go out this door, no one will let you change your bad temper, otherwise, within 3 days you will be isolated and you want to die. Tell the truth. After drinking, Lin Mengran laughed and patted Jiao Ning. Squad leader, do you know why I went to steal the wine? The relationship of 3 months is not deep enough. I'm afraid we will just separate like this, and we will forget with this affection. Jiao Ning hooked her neck instead. Since you care so much about this relationship, why do you usually ignore people? Observe, Lin Mengran proudly raised her head, I'm observing everyone, to see if the members of the third class are worthy of my friendship. By the way, who will be the most promising in our class in the future, do you dare to guess? Jiao Ning smiled lightly, aren't you going to tell me or yourself? Of course, Lin Mengran pointed her finger on her forehead, I'm the best, I must. After speaking, she fell down on the bed with a gudong, snoring loudly. Chu Xiaojing smiled at everyone embarrassingly, she has such a temper. Once she drinks, she is no longer her. This time, I am afraid it will be dawn. Everyone should go to bed earlier. Jiao Ning poked Lin Mengran, and then poked him harder. The other party was sleeping like a dead pig, not even moving. She looked at Chu Xiaojing speechlessly, I only care about one thing, drunk talk, will she remember tomorrow? First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 193. One more. At the same time as Jiao Ning's voice fell, Lin Mengran sat up suddenly, staring straight ahead. Of course I will remember what I said. After finishing speaking, she got up, walked to her bed, and stopped. Turned around and stood facing the bed, like a scarecrow who was suddenly pushed, hit the bed with a gudong, snoring again. Everyone stared dumbfounded at Lin Mengran, who had fallen asleep again, not knowing whether it was a sleepwalking movement or a conscious movement. Then, those who were like-minded, everyone turned their eyes to Chu Xiaojing, and the other party rubbed her head embarrassedly and smiled. I don't know if she can remember the drunken words, anyway, she definitely doesn't remember what happened just now. Jiao Ning hesitated, sleepwalking. It doesn't count, she's just like this after drinking, sensitive and dull at the same time. It's true that there are everyone, and I have learned a lot today. Yuen Mengmeng couldn't help but pushed Lin Menggran, and the snoring didn't stop. It's strange, why did she get up all of a sudden just now? Is it asleep or not? Now is it asleep or not? Don't touch her, be careful. Ouch. Before Chu Xiaojing could finish her warning, Lin Menggran made a move. Yuen Mengmeng was a little drunk, and when she was suddenly pushed down, she felt dizzy, so she subconsciously grabbed Lin Menggran's foot that was stretched out of the bed. Don't, Chu Xiaojing yelled anxiously, grabbed Yuen Mengmeng's arm and dragged it back, at the same time. Lin Menggran, who was snoring loudly, swung her left foot violently. It was just a little bit short, and he kicked Yuen Mengmeng in the face. Chu Xiaojing reached out and wiped the cold sweat that came out of her forehead. Take a long breath, this eldest lady, I can't let her drink anymore, in case someone kicks her out, won't the old man peel her off? She, what's wrong with her? After being so frightened, Yuen Mengmeng's drunkenness was completely gone, and she had a feeling of walking before the gate of hell was closed. Chu Xiaojing reached out and pressed her tailbone. Does it hurt here? A little bit. It doesn't matter if it hurts a little bit. I just fell to the ground suddenly. It will be fine in a while. Chu Xiaojing comforted Yuen Mengmeng softly, and finally let go of her hanging heart. No kidding. Qi Jihong, who was sleeping on the other side of Lin Menggran, had a look of horror on his face. She was like this because she was drunk. Or is it like this when you are asleep? Chu Xiaojing quickly explained, normally, it only happens when you drink too much. Qi Jihong thought for a while, then I'd better not sleep tonight. If the strength of the kick just now was accurate, Yuen Mengmeng's bridge of nose would probably be broken, and she didn't want to be beaten for no reason. You can sleep in my bed tonight, Jiaoning I said as she went to pick up the quilt on her own bed. Getting up together, I found that Qi Jihong had come to her with the quilt in his arms, and smiled at her flatteringly. Thank you, monitor. Jiaoning I shook her head amusedly. It is estimated that this squad leader has been called for 3 months. The only time I called it from the heart, right? Hey. Qi Jihong sneered, not knowing what to say. Her usual attitude towards Jiaoning I was just there. I really can't find a good reason to justify myself. Yuen Mengmeng, who had already calmed down, looked at Chu Xiaojing curiously. What is the relationship between you and Lin Menggran? Why do I feel that you listen to her very much? Yes, Chu Xiaojing nodded. In anything, her opinion is my opinion. Ah. Not just Yuen Meng. The others also opened their mouths wide in surprise. In this day and age, everyone is still somewhat resistant to this kind of relationship. Lu Meijun lowered her voice and said to Chu Xia, tell me, can her statement be understood as Lin Menggran's maid? Sounds like it. Chu Xia was also very curious about this. Speaking of which, the Zhou family can be counted as a famous family, but the Zhou family does not have that kind of so-called servants, and the nannies are allocated according to the state regulations. Could it be that the Lin family is still following the previous way of doing things? However, in this era, such a relationship is not allowed to exist. Even if it does exist, it must be covered up. If Chu Xiaojing speaks out like this openly, isn't she afraid of causing trouble for the Lin family? Or, on purpose? It's not what you think. Chu Xiaojing smiled at everyone. My father was gone before I was born, and my grandparents called my mother a bastard. On the 3rd day after I was born, my mother danced down the well. Neither my grandparents nor my uncle and aunt wanted to raise me, so I was given to a couple in a neighboring village who could not have children. My adoptive parents treated me well, but when I was 8 years old, they were buried in a coal mine. Inside the village cotters sent me back to my grandparents' house. They had no choice but to accept me, but they didn't treat me like a human being at all. In winter, they asked me to break ice holes in the river to wash clothes. My hands were rotten. Can't hold things. Even if I did all the housework in the house, I would still be beaten frequently because I listened to what they said. I was afraid that people would see my injuries, so they would prick my thigh with needles. I couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. Out. When I was about to starve to death, I met Ran. She persuaded Grandpa Lin to adopt me, let me go to school with her, practice martial arts together, and now, serve as a soldier together. She is the best person in the world to me. What she likes is what I like. Her opinion is of course mine. Cough. Yuan Mengmeng coughed lightly. You said that what she likes is what you like, so if she likes a boy, what should you do? I will check for her. If that boy is worthy of her liking, I will treat them both well. If not, I will persuade her to leave. Chiao Ning I looked at her seriously. From different angles, the results you see will be different, especially if you have such deep feelings for her, it will inevitably be biased. So I suggest you, don't meddle in emotional matters. Combine. After being silent for a while, Chu Xiaojing nodded, I know, I will take it to a certain degree. Looking at her expression, she knew that this question was definitely not persuasion from outsiders, and she could listen to it. Chiao Ning I sighed slightly and didn't say any more. Why did you tell us this all of a sudden? Chu Xia pondered for a long time, but couldn't find a reasonable explanation, so he simply asked. Her actions tonight represent that she has accepted you. Then, I hope that everyone can understand her better and know what a kind person she is. As for the rest, I have no right to say anything without her consent, and please forgive me. Yuan Mengmeng glanced at the sleeping Lin Mengran. I'm curious, why didn't she wake up after you talked for so long? Sorry, it's about her safety, I don't want to answer. Yuan Mengmeng curled his lips in embarrassment. If you don't answer, sleep. After a night of silence, Lin Mengran returned to her previous indifference in the morning of the next day, as if the person who made a fuss last night was not her at all. If it weren't for the few empty bottles in the room, or everyone would really think that everything last night was just an illusion of their own. After returning from dinner, Yuan Mengmeng looked at Lin Mengran for a few times, and seeing that the other party didn't even look at her, he said unwillingly, Hey, you almost destroyed me last night, do you know that? Lin Mengran turned her gaze to Chu Xiaojing, and when she saw him nodding at her, she smiled apologetically at Yuan Mengmeng. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Yuan Mengmeng. Ran, I told everyone about me last night. Huh, Lin Mengran frowned, it's troublesome. Chu Xiaojing quickly explained, I don't want everyone to misunderstand you. Eventful. Hey, do you have a brain problem? If it weren't for Chu Xiaojing, something serious happened last night, and the entire third class will be implicated by you. Even if you saved her, you don't need to show such a bad attitude, do you? Fortunately, she still speaks good things for you everywhere. Who is it? At this moment, Yuan Mengmeng felt that he was the embodiment of justice, pointing at Lin Mengran with a righteous expression on his face. Unexpectedly, Chu Xiaojing didn't appreciate it, and when she finished speaking, she looked at her seriously. Yuan Mengmeng, you don't know Ran well, so you don't have the right to say that about her. I'm really full. Yuan Mengmeng glared at Chu Xiaojing bitterly, grabbed the packed package, goodbye. After taking 2 steps, he turned around and added, it's best not to see you again. Yang Xiaoli grabbed her tightly, Mengmeng, I'm afraid it will be a year before we are separated this time and we get together again. I can't say whether everyone can be so well-rounded now. Don't play childish temper, be good, say goodbye to everyone. Although a little reluctant, Yuan Mengmeng still folded back. This time, Lin Mengran took the initiative to hold Yuan Mengmeng's hand. I'm sorry, I sincerely apologize for my previous misunderstanding. That's about the same. There was a smile in Yuan Mengmeng's eyes. Human, only when you know what is good or bad is someone willing to make friends with her, right? Yes, I'll give you the same words, restrain your unyielding temper, otherwise, you will still be an unwelcome soldier at the next site. Yuan Mingmeng's smile froze on his face, and after a while, he cut out, can't you say something nice? Good medicine is bitter, Lin Mengran said, looking at the others, I wish everyone excellent results in the new position, and strive to meet again in a year without missing one. Why did you take my words away? Chiao Ning I smiled and stepped forward, grabbed Lin Mengran's hand and stretched it forward, then clasped her hands together. The team members who stayed in division lined up to report to the resident hospital with their packages on their backs, and those who went to 401 boarded the bus waiting in the parking lot. A new journey begins. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 194. The second watch arrives. The bus stopped in the spacious courtyard of the 401 General Hospital. 25 team members got off the bus one by one with their luggage on their backs. Led by a middle-aged woman in her 40s, they came to a large conference room. Let's rest here for a while. The middle-aged woman left the words and disappeared outside the door. Lu Meijun poked Chu Xia beside her, and said with a trembling voice, I don't know if Nurse Liang who adopted me will get along well, I'm so nervous. The corner of Chu Xia's mouth twitched, you think you are from an orphanage, and still adopt. It's not too tense. Lu Meijun took a deep breath, then exhaled, and suddenly opened her mouth in a daze. Chu Xia followed her gaze and saw Luo Xiaoxian, wearing a green military uniform, following Su Yu, and the long man came in behind, and behind him were several male and female soldiers of different ages. Seeing Luo Xiaoxian, except for the members of the third class, most of them showed a little discomfort. During that time, everyone talked a lot about her. Who would have known that there would be such a day? After all the people were seated, Dean Su, who was in charge, smiled at everyone, hello, comrades. I and the leaders in the courtyard would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone. Haha. Although everyone was nervous, at the same time as Dean Su's words fell, there was spontaneous applause. As for the situation of our 401 General Hospital, there are detailed introductions in the report manuals in everyone's hands, so I won't go into details. I wish you all can learn real skills and become a qualified doctor and nurse during this time in 401. Next, I will talk about the arrangement of study time for everyone. Learning from doctors and nurses is your main way of learning. There are 10 classes of classroom study in the doctor class and nurse class every week, and the class schedule will be sent to everyone by Assistant Luo soon. Outside group classes. The working hours of the supporting doctors and nurses are your working hours. If there are special circumstances, please ask the supporting doctors and nurses for leave in advance. Some specific hospital regulations will be sent to you by Assistant Luo after the meeting. If you have any problems during the period of studying and working in 401, you can report to Assistant Luo first. The more everyone sitting in the audience listened, the more complicated their gazes at Luo Xiaoxian were. They were recruits who joined the army together. Now, they are still little Xiamai struggling to get to work, but Luo Xiaoxian has become a big celebrity in front of the dean. This gap. Sitting on the stage, Luo Xiaoxian didn't seem to look sideways. In fact, don't mention how cool it is in her heart, she knows that the dean's doing this is to build her prestige. After she came to 401 to report, the dean didn't say anything, but obviously, she was once laughed at by members of the medical team, and the dean knew about today's incident. Ordinarily, Xiao Miao should be brought here, but the dean brought her here and handed over the coordination of the medical team to her. Is the meaning not clear enough? The meeting was indeed very short, 10 minutes later. After Dean Su finished his speech, Several other leaders spoke briefly. The meeting was declared adjourned. After all the leaders left, Luo Xiaoxian distributed the charter to everyone one by one. She said hello to those she knew well, and after handing out the last one, she happily sat next to Chu Xia and Lu Meijun, with a little excitement on her face. Hey, from now on, we can be together every day again. Chu Xia laughed and teased her. You don't regret your choice now, do you? Hate. Lu Meijun stroked her forehead. Xiaoxian, when I saw you just now, I thought, you have completely transformed in 2 months, but you grinned like a hee-hee. Well, you're all back. You, come laugh at me too. Luo Xiaoxian punched Lu Meijun, then got up. Let's go, you two share a dormitory with me, I'll take you to put your luggage down first. After leaving the door, Chu Xia grabbed Luo Xiaoxian and asked in a low voice, don't you live in a room for two? Yes, but now I live in a 4-person room, and I have been begging the director for a long time, hee. Luo Xiaoxian smiled happily. I am also happy to live with you in an 8-person room. It can be seen that the principal dotes on you very much, Lu Meijun tisk said. Luo Xiaoxian proudly puffed out her small chest. Of course, you don't even look at who we are. Who is the other one? Qiaoning II. Chu Xia looked at Luo Xiaoxian speechlessly. Then why didn't you call her together just now? Luo Xiaoxian looked innocent. Forgot. You didn't ask her to share a dormitory with us? Chu Xia asked suspiciously. No, Luo Xiaoxian shook her head. It was arranged by the dean. Luo Xiaoxian, Lin Chuxia, Lu Meijun, wait for me. Qiaoning II chased after her out of breath. I share a dormitory with you. Really? Luo Xiaoxian expressed surprise. That's such a coincidence. Chuxia and Lu Meijun kikai waterfall sweat. Well, Lu Meijun decided to take back what she just said about Luo Xiaoxian returning to her original state. She is still different from before. If it was her 2 months ago, she would definitely not be talking nonsense like she is now. 2 bunk beds, 4 bedside tables, 2 thermos bottles, 4 wooden square stools, and 2 desks are the furnishings for a room for 4 people. After putting down the things, Luo Xiaoxian took a few people to get the wash basin, overalls, meal cards. After a series of busy work, it was almost noon. Before early summer, she had already studied with Dr. Song, so when other students went to find her own doctor and nurse in the afternoon, she could no longer follow around, but went to Dr. Song's office honestly. Have you finished all the formalities? Seeing Chu Xia come in, Dr. Song showed a rare smile to her. Yes, it's all over, thank you teacher for your concern. Chu Xia hurriedly stood up straight and replied. She felt a little flattered by the sudden warm treatment. You can study with peace of mind when you're done. You're different from others. You're going to get married in a month or so. During this time, put more effort into your studies. Yes. Continue to read the book I gave you. If you don't understand, just ask me. Wang Jing, who was sitting by the side, blinked at Chu Xia. Thank you teacher, the teacher will only teach the students who really approve of it. Teacher, I will do my best. Although she didn't quite understand whether Wang Jing's sudden kindness was for Song Xiao's sake or from the bottom of her heart, Chu Xia smiled at her gratefully and followed her advice. Song Xiao waved her hand. Okay, I don't listen to what I say. If you want me to believe you, tell me with your actions. Yes, Chu Xia responded, retreated to her desk, picked up her tome and continued to chew. For the next period of time, early summer was busy and fulfilling, except that Luo Xiaoxian and Lu Meijun could be seen every night and in the big class. The rest of the time was spent by Song Xiao's side. Dalian Village. Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe have already moved into the spacious tile-roofed house. On the Kong in the east room, Zhao Yulan, Fat Aunt, and 2 daughters-in-law who have a good relationship with the village are busy making a bright red satin quilt for early summer. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 195. as soon as it arrives. The fluffy and snow-white cotton wool is evenly spread on the inside of the white quilt, covered with a satin quilt with a big red belt and the word happy, and the inside of the white quilt is folded up. Each of the 4 women is holding one side, and the long cotton thread is pulled. Chuck, there is a sound of lachila, and the even stitches spread out. Several people were busy with their hands, and their mouths were not idle. Second sister-in-law, you and second brother are really blessed. You said that in our village, there are a lot of sons and daughters, but which one has so much wealth? Yeah, let's just talk about this big tile house, there is no other one in the whole county. Well, my daughter is 17 years old. I don't mean that she can build a big tile-roofed house for the family. I will be satisfied if I can add a sewing machine. I'm not afraid of my second sister-in-law's jokes. I dream of having a second sister-in-law's house like this. Where's the sewing machine? Wen Yingniang, you really dare to think that there are hundreds of B-brand sewing machines? I'm not as greedy as you. I'm quite satisfied with a peony brand. Your Jiangxin is a kid, can you compare with me? Why can't it be compared? Can your daughter-in-law buy you a sewing machine? The fat ant glanced at the woman who was said to be dumb, and joked with a smile, Bride Jian, your boy needs to have a size, and a good appearance. A group of little girls who don't hook their husbands have their eyeballs sticking to their bodies. You just let the wind go, whoever can accompany you with a sewing machine to give you a mother-in-law, you can marry whoever is your daughter-in-law in Jiangxin, I will guarantee you, as long as you do this. Your sewing machine is better than Wen Yingniang's. The son was praised for his good conditions, and the corners of Jian's bride's mouth immediately hooked up. But I can't forget to defend myself, fat sister-in-law, I, a mother, can't want a sewing machine just for myself. So I sold my son, my daughter-in-law, you still have to be kind, you can buy a sewing machine if you have money, but it's not something you can buy with money if you have a good heart. Wen Yingniang nodded, you are right, whether you are a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law, you have to look at your heart first, even if you have gold and silver at home, your heart is not good. It's also uncomfortable. Ah, the fat ant sighed, her head sullen, and she stopped talking. Both Wen Yingniang and Jian's bride looked a little embarrassing. What I said just now was aroused, but I forgot that the fat ant has always been dissatisfied with Zhong Hongying's daughter-in-law. Thinking about Mrs. Zhong's temper, if the Luo family really married Zhong Hongying, life would be really good. It's not easy. The relationship between Zhao Yulan and Fat Ant is closer. There are not so many taboos, so he persuaded in a low voice, don't worry about it. No one dared to say what would happen until the day of the wedding. I'm not worried about getting married with the Zhong family, I'm worried about my idiot son. The fat ant sighed again, our families are all close. I don't hide my words. My family's hunky is stubborn, and up to now, she writes a letter to Zhong Hongying every day. Originally, I thought so. If he is really determined to marry Zhong Hongying, then he should. It's a big deal to live apart at that time. But at this moment, Zhong Hongying is going to be a soldier too, with her character, how can she still look at the red flag? Alas, as for Hunky's one muscle, I'm afraid that he won't be able to think about it and delay his life. After what Aunt Fat said, Zhao Yulan frowned slightly. Since Luo Xiaoxian went to serve in the army, Zhong Hongying went to Luo's house to sit and chat with Aunt Fat every day. He gradually accepted her. Hasn't Zhong Hongying come over these days? Zhao Yulan asked. Aunt Fat shook her head, since she received the notice of enlistment, she has never been here again. Hey, Wen Yingniang sighed, that's also an ambitious one, always thinking of climbing high branches, fat sister-in-law, if she really breaks up, I think it's a good thing, such a daughter-in-law is not easy to raise. Bride Jian immediately echoed, that's right, fat sister, I think your worries are a bit unnecessary. Our hunky's temper is a little bit stubborn, but he is not stupid. If Zhong Hongying really changes her mind, How can she still hang on to her all the time? Our family's conditions are there, and Hunky's conditions are also there. It's so easy to find a good wife. You marry your daughter-in-law home to him and sleep on the Kong for a few days, so he will never remember who Zhong Hongying is. My son knew it himself, but the fat aunt didn't want to argue with outsiders anymore, so she smiled and patted Jian's bride. You rough woman, how could you say that about your nephew? Bride Jian just laughed. The words are rough and the rationale is not rough. Which one didn't come here like that? Besides, I didn't say it in front of my eldest nephew. We old women, why are we pretending to be ignorant? Why are you ashamed? You, the fat aunt pointed at Jian's bride with a helpless expression. Can't you say something nice with your mouth? Fat sister, where did I say something bad? It sounds good, it sounds good. Zhao Yulan, who almost saw the sky with fat aunt touching the spoon in the pot, of course could see that fat aunt was not really relieved, and, based on her understanding of Luo Hunky, she also knew that fat aunt's worry was by no means superfluous. But there seems to be no good way to solve this matter now. Luo Hunky is not a person who listens to advice, she sometimes wonders, and Fat and Luo Gangshun are not that kind of temperament. Who is Luo Hunky following? When Lin Baohe came back at night, Zhao Yulan told him about it. Lin Baohe pondered for a while, then sighed. Fortunately, our family didn't pay attention to Hunky in Chuxia. You. Zhao Yulan was speechless. I told you about the red flag. Why are you talking about our Chuxia? If Chuxia of our family falls in love with him, and Zhong Hongying is still in his heart, don't you think it's Chuxia of our family who suffers? Zhao Yulan glared at him bitterly. Shaxiang is almost dying of worry. You are still thinking about this matter. If you let her know, she will definitely not even talk to you when she sees you in the future. You just like to worry about it? Hunky is not stupid. When he understands it, no one needs to persuade him. He knows what to do. But what if he doesn't understand? Zhong Hongying and him are soldiers in the same army. With Zhong Hongying's temperament, if it really fails with Hunky, do you think she can find her again? If you can't understand the red flag like that, then your worries are useless. After pondering for a long time, Zhao Yulan sighed faintly. That's right, if you can't figure it out like this, there is really no cure. Alas, who do you think he will follow? Why is he so stubborn? His grandma is stubborn. That's right, Zhao Yulan slapped her head suddenly. If you don't tell me, I really forgot. Isn't his grandma just a stubborn one? How could Auntie marry Gangshun so smoothly? Back then, when Aunt Fat and Luo Gangshun were about to get engaged, a girl in the village who was interested in Luo Gangshun tried her best to force her parents to ask a matchmaker to come to Luo's house to make a marriage proposal, expressing that she would not want a bride price. The Luo family was very poor at that time, and there were two younger brothers under Luo Gangshun who hadn't promised marriage. Luo Gangshun's father was tempted, thinking of saving the gift money to marry his second and third sons. In the end, the old lady of the Luo family didn't agree with anything, and went to the family who proposed to marry her in person, expressing her attitude. In the end, under the help of the old lady Luo, she married the fat aunt with a lot of dowry money. However, the old lady Luo's actions did not mean that she liked Auntie Fatty's daughter-in-law very much. Anyway, since Auntie Fatty married, the old lady has always treated Aunt Fatty neither salty nor light. Use. For these years, Mrs. Luo has been living with her youngest son and daughter-in-law. No matter how Fat Aunt Ren invites her, she doesn't come to live with her eldest son. Speaking of which, Luo Hunky's personality is quite similar to that of Mrs. Luo. However, if Luo Hunky's character was really like the old lady Luo, Zhao Yulan really felt that there was no need to worry about Luo Hunky. When he understood and thought about it, he should know his future path. From Mrs. Luo, Zhao Yulan thought of Mrs. Zhou. Hey, I don't know if Mrs. Zhou is as stubborn as Mrs. Luo. she never accepts Chu Xia for the rest of her life. Although she is just an old woman, she is an elder's elder after all. If she doesn't like Chu Xia. Father, you said that the grandma of Captain Xiao Zhou is also like Granny Shaxiang, right? A lot of words. It's useless for us to worry about this kind of thing. As long as Xiao Zhou treats Xia well, and Xia's mother-in-law and father-in-law treat Xia well, let's not force others. Zhao Yulan waved her hand like chasing flies. Forget it, don't think about these things anymore. If you think about it like this, the girl will never get married for the rest of her life. There are still 10 days left, and my daughter will be a family member. Lin Baohe's eyes showed a trace of sadness. How long is it? Wrapped in a small quilt, just a little bit. This is going to be a daughter-in-law, hey. Zhao Yulan was also sad for a while, and looked at Lin Baohe seriously. His father, when Xia has a child, I want to go and babysit her. I don't feel relieved when outsiders take care of her. The root of my illness back then was that I didn't sit properly during confinement. I can't let Xia go my old way. The Zhou family can't. Zhao Yulan interrupted Lin Baohe. I am not at ease if it is possible or not. Lin Baohe hurriedly said, okay, then you can go and babysit for Xia, but we have to discuss this matter with the in-laws first, otherwise Xia will have a hard time at Zhou's house in the future. Zhao Yulan nodded, well, I will discuss it with my in-laws when I get married. Now we have to discuss the matter of seeing off the relatives first, and it should be settled. Lin Baohe stroked his forehead with a headache. There must be fewer people. I'm afraid the Zhou family will look down on Xia. There are too many people. I'm really worried. Our parents, eldest brother and third younger brother are simply trying to take the bridge. Knowing that this matter can't be done without them, we just wait for us to come to ask them, but if we open our mouths, in the future, Zhao Yulan sighed, say no more. To be continued. For mobile phone users, please go to M to read. Chapter 190 Worried. Chapter 190 Worried ****.